Good Friday morning, everybody. Hope yours is going well. We made it to the end of another week, and we are just a couple days away from another Seahawks football game. So, Fridays on this channel are all about the pass rush. And last year, the pass rush videos that I did for the Seahawks were, generally speaking, the most popular midweek videos that I was making. So, we'll see if that carries on into this year. It makes sense that a lot of Seahawks fans would be really interested in this pass rush and wanting to keep track of who's doing well and who's maybe not holding up their end of the bargain. So when you piece it all together, it makes sense why a lot of people would really care about pressures. So after week one, who is getting pressures? Keep in mind that the goal for 2021 is 200 total pressures by the end of the season, and I believe we can get there. So in this first game, did we set ourselves up well for getting to 200 by the end of the year? The answer is actually yes. And if you watch the game on Sunday, you probably already know that. But let's do it numerically. Before I dive into these numbers real quick, I want to say that I am planning on doing a Seahawks stream tonight. We're just going to spend a little bit of time talking about the team's situation going into this Titans game. We're going to get final injury reports later this afternoon, so we'll be able to filter everything through that. And we'll probably just spend an hour fielding questions in the chat, and you guys can ask whatever you want to ask about this team and say whatever you want to say about where this team is going. And I'll probably try to make it a weekly occurrence, the midweek Seahawks stream, to just discuss the state of the team and how people feel. So keep an eye out for that sometime tonight in all likelihood. I'll schedule it as soon as I feel like I have a comfortable idea of when I'll be able to actually go live. So see you there, hopefully. Okay, so we're going to start with the defensive ends, and we got great production from these guys. And keep in mind, I did not even include Darrell Taylor here, even though he played defensive end mostly in game number one, because, well, I just decided to put him at linebacker, but the distinction for him doesn't really mean that much. He's going to play wherever he plays. Carlos Dunlap in game number one had one pressure. Now, that does not include the pressure he got on the two-point conversion that he sacked Wentz on, so Pro Football Reference did not give him credit for that pressure, but we watch football. We all know that he got that pressure, and we should probably be giving it to him. So just put that in the back of your mind for now, and we'll come back to that at the end of the season. And maybe it'll push him over the edge to my projection of 30. We'll see. But good first game for Dunlap. Also a pretty good first game for Alton Robinson, who barely played, but had a massive impact on that game. PFR, which is notoriously stingy on pressures, gave him one pressure in that game. And I think PFF gave him two. Now, I like to go with the PFR number because I think it's reasonable and fair to be stingy with pressures, but you could easily have given him two and it would not have been inaccurate on your part. But we give him one, and that gets him off to a decent start to the season. Benson Mayowa already has two, including a sack. And I was not giving him that much this season because I didn't think he was going to play that much. I gave him 10 the whole season, and I thought most of those 10 were going to come later when people got hurt, when people were missing games, when people were limited. No, he goes right out there in the first game with everybody healthy and eats. Great stuff from Benson Mayowa. If he can actually be a significant impact player this year, then, hey, it's like reaching in your pocket and finding a $20 bill that you forgot was there, right? Kerry Hyder got one pressure on Sunday, so he got off to a decent enough start. And the unlikely king of QB pressures for the Seahawks on Sunday, leading the pack with 3 whole quarterback pressures, Rasheem Green. Now, I gave him 10 the whole season, so huge ups to him for at least this one game. Can he sustain it? Probably not, but he might have a little bit more to offer than I was giving him credit for. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Rasheem Green was a player that I don't want to say gave up on, but I was kind of not thinking he was going to be a big impact player for the Seahawks ever. I thought last year was the year he was going to break out, if ever. Maybe I was a year off. Who knows? He's still young. He still has talent. He just needs to stay healthy, and he just needs to continue to do what he did against the Colts on Sunday, because that was probably the best game he ever played. So you add it all up, the defensive ends combined for 8 pressures in that game. Really good start. Okay, defensive tackles. More interesting results here. Poona Ford had 1 pressure. He had a pretty forgettable game for him, but I don't think he did anything bad. He just didn't have a big impact. Al Woods, nothing. LJ Collier, not even active, so that's a really bad sign for the 18 projected I gave him. However, making up for him and then some is Brian Monet, who I gave 2 pressures all season. Yeah, he's going to do more than that. He's clearly better than that. He had 2 pressures in 1 game. He already got to 2 after 1 game. I thought we were mostly going to use him as a run stuffer to back up Al Woods, but Brian Monet's better than that, and clearly he deserves more credit than I was giving him. This is a guy who is clearly going to play a bigger role in this defense than I was initially imagining. So, Monet, if Collier is actually as bad as being inactive for the Week 1 game indicates, then Monet might just save our bacon and make us not really mind as much. And Kimdichie was on the practice squad, so 3 total pressures from the defensive tackles. Not bad. Reasonable, especially considering how good the interior of the Colts offensive line is. Quentin Nelson, even 90% Quentin Nelson is still amazing, and Ryan Kelly. Okay, linebackers, and we got some pretty good action here as well. Bobby Wagner actually picked up a pressure already. He's got 1. I think he blitzed like twice and got pressure on 1 of those blitzes, so good start for him. Jordan Brooks, nothing. He did blitz a couple times. Doesn't seem like it's that effective yet. That's a part of his game that will hopefully come along as the season goes on. But one guy whose pass rush is already deadly is Darrell Taylor, who had 2 QB pressures in his first ever NFL game. And if he keeps that up, he's going to shatter my projection of 15. He looked like somebody who is going to be a problem for offenses all season. The way he completely ragdolled the tackle on the 4th down sack of Carson Wentz. Beautiful. And he's got more than just that too. So great start to the season for Darrell Taylor. He gets things off on the right foot for the linebackers. And then you got Barton, nothing, Belor, and Radigan did not play. So that gets us to 3 total pressures from the linebackers. And that actually pretty much closes the book on the Week 1 pressures. Cornerback, nothing. I think Marquise Blair may have blitzed once. And other than that, we didn't even take a shot at pressuring the QB with any of these corners. And Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs, 0 pressures as well. Jamal Adams, fun fact, blitzed either twice or 3 times in that game, I think. We did not blitz him nearly as much as we did in 2020, which is definitely a good thing and is a good indication that the team is in a healthier place right now with their pass rush. They don't have to blitz Jamal Adams 9 times a game. And that's pretty much what they were doing last year, 8-9 times a game. Now, in this first game, by my count, he blitzed 2 or 3 times. And he did actually get a sack on the first drive of the game, but bogus offsides penalty took it away from him. I watched that play a few times. I'm convinced that it either should have been a no call or delay of game on the Colts. But hey, first sack of the season doesn't actually count. Not his fault. I think he played that play very well, and I think he just didn't get the call to go his way. So yeah, nothing there. And at the end of the day, total pressures is 14. Now, you can do some very simple math and determine that 14 pressures in 1 game times 17 games equals more than 200. So, if they keep up this pace, which they probably won't, then we're on to something. And even if they can't keep up the pace, I don't expect them to get 14 pressures in every game. There are probably going to be some games where they just go off and get close to 20. I think this core of pass rushers is fully capable of that. I think that there are going to be some games where we're just relentlessly hitting the quarterback on practically every drop back. And I think that this unit is clearly showing that even against what was a pretty good offensive line in the Colts, I know they were missing Eric Fisher, but a pretty good offensive line overall, they ate. So there's going to be an opportunity for them to eat in a lot of games this year. We're playing the Titans this week. You guys saw what their offensive line did last week. It was not good. It was not pretty. So next week is another opportunity to continue down this pace. If they do so, they will make me very happy as a fan. And that's your pressure data for 2021 week 1. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Mariners video coming later today. Going to do an injury report roundup after the final statuses of the injured players comes out. And then we'll try to do a stream later tonight. See you guys later on. Go Hawks.